This is the 217 Recovery Podcast with Corey Winfield.
I don't know. Why would they sit there and watch us talk into microphones and look at each other and look at your faces that you give me sometimes?
And co-host Marnie Winfield.
In situations like that, if you take the time to weigh the pros and cons of your involvement in something, I think this is across the board with a lot of things in life. You know, does it make sense for me in my world?
It is June 25th, 2022. My name's Corey Winfield.
My name's Marnie Winfield.
And this is the 217 Recovery Podcast. See, what I was talking about there in that drop was actually doing our podcast on Facebook or YouTube or whatever, like doing it live so that people could see. Problem with that, well, that I'm a little lazy, and that this is just my take on it, my opinion. So I don't want anybody getting mad at me, and I don't want to make anybody mad, but I'm just saying, like, a woman wants to make sure she's got that shirt on, you know, looking good, you know, get the hair did, the makeup on. You can't just throw on a hat, sweatshirt, and be like, all right, let's do it.
So you're not talking to anyone in particular, just the other people that are on the podcast, not you?
Mm-hmm.
So like me.
But yeah, but people understand. People understand. They know exactly what I'm saying. They're like, yeah, I mean, imagine your wife, if you're like, let's just do a podcast right now, turn the camera on. Not going to fly.
Right.
And the one time we did, you were mad at me, so
well,
I learned my lesson.
No, I'm in my defense. It's one of those things where we have to do them so often that, yeah, if it was like okay, we're going to do it, be ready for this, you're going to have to, you're going to be on camera live, but like it's, 3 days a week. So, and I've already been there, done that, having to get up and be ready for the world. So when I come back home, I don't want to have to do that. Right.
And I was going to say also is we're so, I'd say sporadic with what time there's never a set time like, hey, 7:00 in the studio, see you then.
Right.
It's never like that.
Yeah.
So we'd be all over the board, and it just, and sometimes it's 10:00, you're supposed to get on makeup to do a video of yourself so people can be like, oh, they look hot. Marnie's sexy. Corey's cute. He's got them dimples. Yeah, it's real hot. That's what I'm saying. Like, why would people want to sit there and look at us?
Right.
Podcast is something you can listen to when you're driving. You can listen to it in the shower, making dinner, laying in bed. A lot of people turn it on and go to sleep. Mm-hmm. I talk them to sleep, honey.
Yeah, I bet.
A lot of people have told me that. So
that's all good.
Hey, that's cool. Just if you're doing that, don't listen on the 217 Recovery app because it only plays one at a time. I've talked to him about that. And nothing can be done, apparently. I don't know. Like, it works like that on other ones, but yeah, go to the website. I think Amazon, Pandora, iHeartRadio, I think too. They all just play them, so you can just listen to a bunch of them.
They go from the one you're listening to backwards, or the one you start at forwards.
Backward. I don't know, honey. That's a lot of questions for me. So you're saying if you listen to this episode, because this is the latest episode,
right?
Will it then play the last episode?
Yeah.
But if you're listening to the last episode, will it go into this episode?
And then stop?
That is a question. That's mind-blowing right there.
Oh, my gosh.
It's almost as crazy as time travel. You think about it.
Stumped you.
Yeah. Don't have all the answers, see? But yeah, so that's the intro.
Yeah.
I guess that's what I do now is I explain the intros. Mm-hmm. Can't wait for November 15th. I got to explain that deer hunting story intro again. That's quite the experience. But today, though, we went to a meeting.
It was a good meeting.
My wife and I it was in Maple City, Michigan.
Population 98.
No, 113.
Oh, 113 now.
Yeah, and it's the craziest story. We'll get into that in a minute. Mm-hmm. Something happened in Maple City, and we got to get to the bottom of it for many different reasons. I'll explain my theory, and you can explain yours. I have a couple of them.
Okay.
But yeah, we went to Maple City, went to an AA meeting at the American Legion.
I think so.
Yeah. And it was my wife and I, like I said. And then there was a couple other dudes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 other people there. So it was nice. It wasn't too small. It wasn't too big. But we all got to share. But it was about forgiveness. And you had a long share. You shared quite a bit. But just talking about forgiveness, and it's easier said than done, but it's something that keeps a lot of people stuck.
Yeah.
For me, it was hell when I was fired from the radio station in Benton Harbor for seeking help for depression, pretty much. I was so bitter. And then they tried to say I quit. Oh, it was just, they were just lying, and they were just not good people. And it took me, and I still don't think, and you said there's people you don't really truly forgive, but that's your story. I'll let you tell that in a second. Maybe. But if I'm being honest, though, I don't forgive those people at the radio station for what they did, but I don't think about it and I don't dwell on it. And if it's ever brought up, like right now, I just go, yeah, those are bad people, and I don't associate with them, and everything happens for a reason. The radio station paid $5,000 to move all my stuff back to Michigan, so thanks. You know, I don't want to work for those kind of people anyway, obviously. So I just kind of look at it a little different, but I don't like those people. I'm not friends with them on Facebook. I'll never truly, I don't think, forgive them. And maybe that's dangerous. I don't know. We'll find out. Mm-hmm. But as far as like having those resentments every day, I don't. And like I said, I just kind of look at it like, yeah. But there was a time it was just on my mind 24/7. My friend Ron Robinson, who has the Radio Days podcast, will tell you that's when I had my Charlie. He refers to it as my Charlie Sheen moment, where I had been drinking and I went on Facebook and just lit him up. And it was quite, I mean, it's kind of funny, but not really. You know, it's really funny if it's somebody else doing it or happened to somebody else. But I'm sure some people looked at it and thought, oh, Corey, like, what are you doing, buddy? You're better than that. But, I mean, some of the stuff was pretty funny. I'm not going to lie.
Well, there was a guy there that shared. Meanwhile, there was a ton of clean time in that room. It was a lot of, what do you call, old timers.
Elderly people? I said elderly people?
Elderly people, yeah, who had been in the rooms for quite a while, quite some time. Anyhow, there was one gentleman that shared, and he was saying that he had no problem forgiving people that he had done wrong to at some point in time, in some element in their relationship, that it was unhealthy on both sides. And so he feels like he could forgive those people because, I don't know, maybe he deserved it. I think there's a lot of that with people in addiction, that when wrong is done to us, that we somehow think that we brought it upon ourselves, which in many cases, honestly, that there's going to be truth to that, right? That's just kind of how the world works. But also forgiving yourself. And that was kind of the main theme of where we are our biggest critics. We are our toughest critics. And to forgive yourself is I think, the hardest thing to do. If you can get to that point, even if you can get to a partial point, and I'm just speaking on from me and how, and my experience with the whole forgiveness thing, is to get to a point where I felt like I could actually forgive myself for my behaviors, was when I was starting, at least I was living my life of recovery in action. You know, that I was sincerely putting my best foot forward every day, all day. And that's when I started to come to terms with the fact, like, I think that I do believe I'm a good person, because we don't feel good about ourselves when we're in active addiction. And in early recovery, we don't really feel good about ourselves either. And it takes a long time. And maybe some people will never feel good about themselves, but that's what the program's for. And that's what, meetings are for. And that's what counseling is for. And that's what talking to other people that are healthy in your life. It doesn't have to be even people in recovery, but people that will listen, that don't judge you, that can recognize what you're trying to do, and that you're living in change, and you're putting your best foot forward, and you're actually working on yourself. And that's when forgiveness becomes a reality for others and for yourself. And one of my biggest things that I always do, and this has to do with conflict resolution also, so like forgiveness in the here and now, right? You stole my Pop-Tarts, or whatever it is. Or, I left my shoes out and then you threw them in the garbage, kind of thing.
Got your booty sweat on my seat.
So it's kind of like, what part did I play in this conflict? Where did I go wrong in any of this? Whether it's words, whether it's behaviors, whether it's neglecting something or someone. I don't know, it can be tons of situations, but really asking yourself, what part did I play in this? And am I taking responsibility for it?
The AA structure is good for that. Look at yourself and what role you played in it and what did you control about the situation. A lot of times we react. It's a big thing that I preach. Do your best not to react. Hold it in. Wait 2 weeks if you need to respond. Someone comes up, says, yo mama. You don't have to be like, well, yo mama. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to fire back right away, but it's in our instinct. It's also an instinct not to feel bad. And when we look back about our mistakes and our things we wish we didn't say, we feel bad. That's one thing that I use, and a lot of people do. That's why we use alcohol. That's why we use drugs. And then usually we say those things, especially when you're drinking, you say things you don't mean, and you can barely remember the next day, but it was bad. So you just continue on that cycle, because then after a few, you don't care anymore and whatever. And you're right back at it, firing off even more hateful things to people sometimes. And you don't even remember it. You don't even know how you're acting. Mm-hmm. And it's one of those things that you just keep repeating the cycle over and over. And if you can just come to terms with, okay, I said that, and that's wrong. I need to apologize. Whether they accept it or not, that's on them. They can say, F you, buddy, and hang up. And you can say, well, that's what I deserve.
Yeah.
And maybe one day we can be friends again.
Mm-hmm.
But then you need to move on, keep dwelling on that and knowing that, yeah, you made a mistake, and then doing your best not to make that mistake again is all you can do. But that does move you forward, and that is good. And you don't need alcohol for that. Alcohol, drugs, all they do is knock you down 10 times more. And it's harder to get back up. So when you can admit or forgive yourself, they're kind of the same thing, really, holding yourself accountable and accepting responsibility for what you said. And that allows you to forgive. But if you can come to terms with that, that is a huge start to moving forward in your recovery, especially early recovery. Mm-hmm. And you're not going to be perfect. You're going to piss people off. You're going to make people mad. People are going to make you mad. It's a two-way street. But if you can stop and look at that and go, okay, we need to figure out how to do this differently. I had said that the people that I piss off are the same people that piss me off. And it's stupid. I walk around pissed off all the time because things aren't my way. Things aren't going right, and it has to do with the recovery community and 217 Recovery helping people in the recovery community. We're a recovery community organization, and I want to do 80 billion things to help people. And I keep getting told, no, this and that, no, get looked over, and it's like, wait a minute, like we're out here, boots on the ground, doing things that help people, and yet nobody wants to give us recognition, so I feel a little disrespected there. But at the same time, I'm disrespecting the hell out of them all the time. Mm-hmm. I'm pointing fingers. You're not doing your job. You're not doing this. You're not doing that. And I need to quit that. I need to just step up and go, forget who's not doing what. Here's what I want to do. This is going to help people. Who do I need to talk to make this happen?
Right.
Forget pointing and blaming. That it's not even working. It's not working. Holding people accountable to do their job is kind of like, hey, Corey, go run up that mountain. What? I'll never get there. I'm going to die before I get to the top. It's a waste of my time, and all it does is tire me out. Mm-hmm. And I should be looking back and seeing my beautiful wife and enjoying my friends and beautiful days and fantasy football, stuff like that. Limited edition Oreos. They're not around forever. Sometimes you just got to go get some, but those are the things that I should be enjoying, not like this horrible climb up this mountain that I don't even want to do in the first place. No, I just want to ride the snowmobile down. It's way more fun to do that. And I don't even like mountains, I don't think. So to tell you the truth. So anyway, that's my thoughts on some of that. And just from my personal experience and things that have happened to me in the past, like things I've said to people. I was listening to the Fantasy Footballers podcast today, and they were talking about one of the guys said he got slapped when he was at a dance in high school, and it wasn't even nothing he did. Is a rumor got started that he had said this something about somebody, and it took me back to my high school days, and we were voting for like the prettiest in the class and all this stuff, and class clown, which I won, but it was beach bum, and I crossed out bum and wrote whale, and I wrote a woman's name in there, a girl's name in there, and I thought that was like funny, huh? And I was kind of joking, but then it was pretty easy that she knew who did it, and I felt like such a piece of garbage, and she wasn't ugly, she wasn't like big. I mean, there was no reason for me to do that. I don't know. It was a group of guys at a table, and maybe somebody said, "Huh, beach whale, who should that be?" And I thought, but she really was the beach bum. Why I did that, I don't know, but I still feel that bad to this day about it. It's some of those things that will stick with you for a long ass time.
Yeah.
And you never know when those memories are going to pop back up. Like I didn't know I was going to think about that today, but
right.
Boom, there I am, and I've forgiven myself, but I don't ever want to make that mistake again.
Yeah.
And I did apologize to her back then, and I don't know. It was just one of those things like, why did I do that? That's stupid.
Yeah. And a thing too is a lot of times, like getting yourself in that spot. Like if you ever gotten yourself, maybe it's at nighttime or maybe something comes up on TV or in conversation or discussion in group or whatever, and you get yourself back in a spot where you're like remembering negative stuff, like people that have done you wrong. And then you just start getting so angry again, like in that moment. And there's nothing you can do about it. There's nothing you can do to change it, and for like, okay, so my brother doesn't have an issue with substance use, right? He went off to college, and all through his childhood, ever since he was a little tyke, collected baseball cards, Topps baseball cards, and he had a pretty solid collection. It was a thing like he asked for him for his birthday, he asked for him for Christmas. Like it's a special Sunday, and we're gonna go to the game store, and I would get Cabbage Patch Kids, and he would get Top cards.
Heck yeah, I was there.
I mean,
did the
mine
same
was
thing.
just junk, and I didn't whatever. But he took it super serious. It was like a serious hobby for him. And to this, like today, he's not a big baseball fan anyway, but he had this pretty substantial collection. And my stepbrother at the time, when my brother went to college, he had them all in this box. My dad made these wooden boxes, like handmade, that had a little, latch on it with a little padlock. One of those ones that you could probably open with a bobby pin kind of deal. That's my dad. Yeah, for all of us kids to keep our collectibles in, like our special stuff that we want to keepsake. What do you call it? Treasure box. Keep some. Anyway, there's some kind of
boxes.
Yeah, trunks or whatever, where you keep stuff you never want to get rid of. That's all he had in that box was these baseball cards. And while he goes off to college, and obviously he's not going to take that stuff along with him. And in the meantime, my dad got remarried, has my stepbrother, and my stepbrother had an issue with pills and took them and sold them. And my dad was married to his wife, not anymore, but for another 15, 16 years. And throughout that entire time, my brother could never, ever, forgive him. And we had a discussion about forgiveness at one point, and he's like, whenever I get to that spot, even though I don't know if I ever really can forgive him for it, because I spent my entire life doing that. That's what I did. And he just took it away from me because he wanted something. He's like, I just need to get myself out of that moment. Like, I have to just think about what I have today, exactly like what you were saying.
Yeah. I spoke with your dad about that situation, actually.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. And I think that your brother was more mad at himself for not getting the cards when he should have. Because he was married. He had his own house, too. He could have been like, hey, give me them cards. And a lot of times that does happen, and we'll blame other people because, again, it's easier to blame you than it is for me to look in the mirror and go, oh, damn, I didn't take out the trash. No, that's a horrible example, but it is so much easier because we don't want to feel pain. We don't want to feel that negative on ourselves. And again, in early recovery, a lot of people, well, I'm not drinking or I can't use drugs today. I'm mad because I wish I had those baseball cards, and damn it, it's your fault now. And you lash out. And I'm not saying your brother has a problem. I'm not saying that at all. But I'm just saying, for the example, we'll judge those other people when in reality, if he even steps back and like you said, he kind of does now, where he's less like, I focus on what I have today and what I have now. And are those baseball cards really anything? Nah. Right. I thought that Frank Thomas that I got years ago, I thought that was going to be the Babe Ruth car, the Hornus Wagner, you know, and sell it for 1.2 mil. No, I got a box of cards. I don't even know. But I did the same thing. I had autographed. I'd send them off to get them autographed and stuff like that. And I had books and cards, and they're everywhere. And then I started blaming my mom for, I don't know, maybe she sold them. I don't know. Good. If she did, good. She got something from them. They're just sitting around her house in the basement collecting dust, you know, like, what was I doing with them? Nothing. But so some of that same thing kind of did happen to me, but I didn't take it that far. I just thought, psh, whatever. You know, like I was mad at for a minute, but no, I should have, if I wanted them, if there's anything in my mom's house that I want, I should have it.
Yeah.
If I don't, I can't get mad at her for throwing it away or selling it.
Yeah, and see right there, you just went through like, what part did I have in this? And when this rolled out and this happened, did it happen to me? It's not like he took them out of your hands and held you at gunpoint. Right. Or same with my brother, you know, they had been sitting there for who knows how long. And did they belong to my stepbrother? No. Was it right of him to take them and sell them? No, especially because it was for something as, you know, well, at the time, obviously, he thought it was significant because he wanted what he wanted, and that was the way he could get it. So, but it's one of those things. Feel like at the end of the day, look at the here and now, you know, focus on that. Where
your part is in what you're feeling is a big deal. You know, you're the one feeling it, you know, and if people don't forgive you, then that's on them. They have that choice.
Yep. And the pray about it thing works too. Just pray about it, you know, like take these thoughts away.
Yeah, that helps sometimes. If you have the 217 Recovery app, the daily reflection. What's that word?
Daily reflections.
It's so hard to say. It's on our app, so you can check it out every day. But it talked about forgiveness, and that's kind of why we're talking about it on the podcast today. So if you're like, what were these guys on some forgiveness kick? But that was the reading, you know, is forgiving yourself and forgiving others. And like Marnie and I just kind of explained in the podcast, you know, we don't forgive everybody. You know, like we don't hold it with us like we used to, but it's on us, you know, it's up to us, and we're the one that have to carry around that burden, and just don't carry too many around with you, you know. But at the same time, that's why we say too, you can't really expect the other people to forgive you, you know.
Right.
You just got to move on and try to be a better person. Try not to repeat those mistakes, because again, that's something that can make you go and use again.
Yeah.
So if you're in early recovery, that's what works for us.
Yeah. I talked to my sister Alexandria today. Alex.
She's getting married. Well, she's been married, but she's having a wedding.
Yeah, she's having a wedding.
Another wedding.
In Pittsburgh. So her wedding is going to be a sober wedding.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So it's pretty exciting. I mean, and at first I was like, is she doing that for me? No, she's not doing that for me. But apparently there's, you know, she was just like, there's just way too much focus on having that be part of your wedding, and it doesn't have to be.
Yeah.
You know? Plus it's pricey.
Yeah.
If you have that as part of your
So she already had a
thing.
wedding.
Yeah, so but we all got to pick out our own outfits and stuff. So, but it's gonna be summertime. It's gonna be hot. So, but I got a nice little like jumpsuit thing I'm gonna wear, avoiding the booty sweat situation.
Nice.
It would be nice and airy. Yeah. So
They should have limited edition Oreos called Booty Sweat. Wasn't that the drink on Tropic Thunder?
I think so. Yeah.
Anyway, back to I'm thinking of Booty Sweat.
No, but I'm excited to go to that. That'll be fun to see family.
Yeah. Not that you would have been like, oh no, it's they have an open bar, or not that you would have had any worries about that. I think where you were at in your recovery, you know, you're good to go. A lot of people, it freaks them out when they go to receptions, and I'm like, well, just leave, eat and leave, man. Like,
Yeah.
do you really want to hear?
You really need to do the chicken dance,
Right?
No. You know what, though? I can say, because of the whole, since COVID happened and people weren't having, I can't say I've been to a wedding reception with drinking present.
Yeah, I mean, the only ones I've ever been to, I think, I had some close friends get married when I was younger, but like my brother and sister, like I was there.
But were you in recovery?
I didn't drink at my sister's. Oh, no, I did. I drank at my sister's reception. I had a couple of beers. She got married before my younger brother did. My younger brother, when he got married in 2016, I did not drink a drop. And that was so great. And actually, my sister's husband at that time, he was that guy that day. So I got to witness like someone else be that guy and go, so glad that wasn't me.
Yeah.
He got into a yelling match with his father when his father said, maybe we don't drink no more today. And he's like, don't tell me what to do. I'm a grown ass man. Like everybody were like,
goodness.
Whoa. Like,
See,
again,
put that on the list of gratefuls. That
and he probably
I will
doesn't
never
remember
have
that.
to be that guy again.
Yeah. That's what I was like, man, but I fell off not too long after that, a month or two, but I'm glad I was sober for that because I'm so happy I wasn't that guy, My sister's, though, it was weird because I was still living in Arkansas and I was really upset that I wasn't in the wedding. And I just couldn't understand why I couldn't be in the wedding. It's my sister's wedding. Why? I don't know. She doesn't want me in it. Then, okay, cool. I don't have to be in it. But I guess it hurt my feelings. So I used anger to cover that up. So I was mad about it. And then I was asked, well, can you do the music? And I said, what? Do the music? What are you talking about? Can you hit the play and then can you make the CD and do the music? I didn't want to do that. I was like, are you kidding me? And that, again, made me more mad. I guess I felt more disrespected. Like, you're going to work me in some role that doesn't even matter when you got all these people that are going to be in your wedding that you're never going to see again the rest of your life, but your own brother can't be in your wedding. I thought I meant more to her than that, and I don't know the way it worked out. I guess she picked her people and he picked his, I wasn't friends with him, so why would they pick me? And I guess it would have been nice if she would have stuck up for me. But again, that's her shit. That's not mine. Like, what can I control about the situation? I can go to a wedding. I cannot, But anyway, it caused a huge drama thing. And I kept like just bringing it up to my mom, who was totally stressed out at the time. And I was just like, yeah, well, I'm not in the wedding, and I was drunk and being stupid. And my stepdad snatched me up. It was because I was like, F it, I'm leaving. I grabbed my keys. And I went to grab my keys, and my little brother grabbed them. And he's like, you're not driving anywhere. I'm like, Travis, give me my keys. And my stepdad snatched me up, threw me up against the stove. He's like, what are you doing to your mother? This has got to stop. You're drinking, And I'm like, what? And I sat down and I talked to him about it. And I think that was the first time I truly was like, look, I know I have a problem. I just don't know what to do about it. And so at the wedding, and then I was pissed off at my stepdad about that. And I was like, yeah, whatever. And so I just put on a fake smile, went to the wedding, fake smiled, went to the reception, had like 2 beers. And I remember my stepdad saying, see, you can have a couple of beers and be fine. And the whole time I'm like, I can't wait to get back to that pint that is in my luggage. And I think I left early because I wanted to get back to that pint, and went to bed early, got up at like 4 a.m. and just took off. Didn't say goodbye to anybody. Took off, drove back to Arkansas, like 12 hours. Probably made it in 9. I was flying. But then I don't think I talked to my mom for like a year almost or something like that. But it was a real bad situation. But I just remember my stepdad saying, look, you can have 2 beers. And again, that was early on. Now he would say, oh, no. Corey cannot just have, he cannot have a beer. Like he gets it now. But at the time, and again, this is new to a lot of families, and sometimes it starts with a drunk driving arrest. Sometimes it starts with just somebody being out of control all the time. And hey, maybe we could cut back on the drinking, and then, F you, and it's like, whoa, like, okay, how do we deal with this? I don't know. Everybody's different. Situations are different. But at the time, I think they just thought, look, Corey's a bright guy. Like, he can figure this out. But that's not how addiction works. And it's actually tougher on the people that are smarter, because we always think that there's a way that we can beat it.
Yeah.
There's a way that's everybody else, but there are people who drink out there and they're just fine. And I can be one of those people. But once you get to a level, there's no effing way. You can't. A guy I know in Lansing is like, oh, I figured it out. I'm drinking on the weekend. And then I see him do dumb shit on Facebook and I'm like, what's he doing, man? He needs to go get some help. What's the point of drinking at all? What good does it do for anybody? Well, it relaxes me. No, it doesn't. You might think it does. It helps you forget some things. Yes, it helps you forget a lot of things, and it makes you into an asshole. Mm-hmm. That's it. But those people that, oh yeah, I can drink a couple beers. Yeah, they're not alcoholics. They don't have a problem with it. Mm-hmm. They might have a problem with mowing the yard or working out, that they neglect their family and everything else for that other thing. It could be church, it could be sex. Who knows what those people are going through, but those are those people, and you are you. And if you're in a bad situation, just turn to recovery, jump into AA meetings, Dharma. On our website, 217recovery.com, we have a list of a bunch of different pathways that you can choose. Find one that you love and just stick with it and live life, man. That's the best thing you can do for yourself. Or you can try to fight it and think that you can be that guy, that person. And sometimes that's what it takes. We have to learn the hard way. Sometimes it takes a DUI.
Yeah.
And hopefully nobody gets killed.
It's just, I felt like in my experience, it was just trying to find different ways to do it. And I've heard this in the rooms too, a lot of people. It's just prolonging, what's possible, because you can find recovery. You can live a life without drugs and alcohol, but trying to find a way to do it, the right way, whatever your equation is that you think that you're going to be able to fit it into your lifestyle. If you're a true person with substance use disorder, it's not going to happen, and it consumes you. It consumes your entire world, and that's not fair to you, and it's not fair to the people that love you, and it's not fair to the people that you love, or the things that you love. And so, yeah, just know that there's a better way to live.
Mm-hmm. And know that it affects your brain. And your brain is thinking, need more to live. Especially when you get to the point where you're shaking without it. Like many of us. Your brain's like, need more now. And you start like, well, I am shaking really bad. I do need more. But if you get to that stage, hopefully you can reach out to somebody, because there is help out there. And I'd sent a letter off to DHHS here in Michigan, Department of Health and Human Services. And I was saying, like, we tell people to reach out for help all the time. And then there's not enough resources. It can be frustrating. So if you reach out, it might be a great week. It might not be. Detoxes sometimes are full. Mm-hmm. If you need to go to the hospital, then you need to go to the hospital. But, people can die from alcohol withdrawal. People do die from alcohol withdrawal. So it's nothing to take lightly. Don't just take a bottle away. Oh, well, my son's drinking too much and I'm just going to dump his bottle out. Well, mm-hmm. You might want to rethink that a little bit. And again, I'm no doctor, but I can't tell you that a doctor would tell you to not take that totally away from them,
Right.
Maybe not let them get 5 sheets to the wind, but make sure that they're not going to have a seizure from withdrawal, because your body will shut down because your body thinks that, I need this to live. You're putting it in your body every single day. And it just becomes a part of your nutrition, I guess, in a weird way. It's something that your body thinks it needs.
Yeah.
And yeah, so be very careful. There's stuff online, of course, you can find with that stuff too, and all about that. But yeah, different strokes for different folks for sure. But don't think that just because if you try it or you reach out for help, by try it, I mean, try to reach out and go to rehab and it doesn't work out, or you can't find it, reach out to other people. Families Against Narcotics is pretty good at connecting people to resources. Your insurance, call them and say, hey, look, here's the deal. And you're going to feel it, but don't feel it. Don't feel like ashamed. People go through this every single day, and look at it more. And this is what I would say to parents or family or friends that are listening right now. They're like, what do I tell my friend? They need help or whatever. Look at it like you're going to change your life for the better, mm-hmm. And if they're like, yeah, but my life sucks and it's horrible. That's right now. Next week, it doesn't have to be that way. Tomorrow, it doesn't have to be that way. And there's going to be some hurt. It's going to suck going through it at first. But in weeks and months later, it's going to be so much better. and you're actually going to be actually living life. And if they can write down 10 awesome things that happened to them while they were using, tell them, hey, I don't know, maybe you don't have a problem, but they're not going to find 10 things. If they do, they're lying.
Yeah.
I can't find one. Not one good thing ever happened to me while I was drinking.
No.
None.
I don't miss it at all.
Not one. But anyway, I think that'll wrap it up for tonight's podcast.
Yeah. Happy Saturday.
Yeah, thanks for listening. Really appreciate that. We're on all the apps and stuff that people listen to music on.
Yeah.
And of course, you know, however you're listening right now. But we do have the app. If you don't have the app yet, you can get it whenever we do podcasts. We publish them. And usually first, I'll send out a notification saying, hey, here's tonight's podcast. So you can get notifications from us for that. And the auction stuff, I thought it was going to be happening by Friday, but it's not. At least, obviously, the last couple of days. But we're going to have like a raffle site of some really cool stuff coming up. So we'll send that stuff out as well through our app. But yeah, get the app. Check us out on our website, 217recovery.com. We got some videos up there and also on the app as well. So again, thanks for listening.
Thanks, everybody. Have a good night.
Thanks for listening to the 217 Recovery Podcast. For more episodes plus bonus features, download the 217 Recovery app and support recovery by rating us in the App Store.